Alright, gonna be swapping the valve cover gaskets on this Mustang and putting on new valve covers. So take you through steps to do that. Gonna have to get the intake manifold off. So first thing I'm gonna do is disconnect the power from the battery. My battery's got like a quick disconnect on it. So that'll be pretty easy to do. And then basically gonna have to start taking the induction system apart. Alright, so first I started by loosening up the induction tube here. Mine's a couple of 8mm sockets to loosen them up. Take that off. You want to disconnect your TPS and your idle bypass. You're going to have to disconnect your coolant hoses to the EGR spacer. The vacuum line to the EGR. I also have to disconnect the throttle cable. Just as a flat blade screwdriver, push down. And then we got to disconnect this plate, which sometimes your TPS sensor will be zip tied on there, but mine's not. It's a couple of 10mm bolts. Alright, so we got some vacuum lines on the back side of the manifold. Let's start with the fuel pressure regulator. Got to disconnect that. There's a line for, I think it's for an evacuation canister. That comes off. And then you've got a vacuum hose that goes to this vacuum tree. That's got to come off too. And then coming around to the front side, there's a hose coming out from underneath the intake. I think this is an emissions canister as well. Let's disconnect that. Alright, so the next step is going to be actually disconnecting all the mounting hardware. And one of the last of the electrical connections is going to be this EGR valve. Alright, so this manifold is basically held down by, you got these two bolts that go through the center here. And then the ends actually have studs. And the studs are held down by these 12-point nuts. So you're going to need something 12-point. The end wrench. Or you get a 12-point socket. These nuts are actually 3/8, so I got the 3/8 for the nuts. And then the center bolts are 5/16. So 5/16 for the center. And then when I'm taking the nut off the stud, I like to keep this magnet on the actual nut itself because it's down there so far. It's really easy for this to just come off and fall into the engine bay. So I'll get it loose and then I'll snap the magnet on there and just take it off with your fingers and pop it off. Alright, so now the intake's ready to come off of there, and you can probably do this by yourself, but it's a lot easier with two people, so that's what we're going to do right now. Alright, so getting back to work on the Mustang. Got the valve covers off. Got this side pretty well cleaned up. Still gotta vacuum up whatever debris I've got laying around in here, but got it cleaned up pretty good. Show you what it looked like beforehand. Still got all this gasket material or whatever stuck on this side, so I gotta clean this side up still. But yeah, show you the valve cover gaskets, or the valve covers, I mean. You can kind of see where they're all stress cracked, like right there is a good example. So basically what happened is these valve covers started disintegrating and leaking oil. So I got to get new valve covers on here. And while I'm doing that, I got new spark plugs. I already got the plugs out on this side. Took all the ignition wires off. Got them right here. The spark plugs. But yeah, these are pretty beat up. These are probably, I don't know, like 10 years old. But this car was sitting for a while. It's probably been sitting since like '08. Haven't really played around with it. And then last year, got it back running again, back out on the street. So this stuff's just kind of overdue maintenance that's got to be done. And there's the other valve cover. You can see they're pretty messed up. I liked them. I mean, they were cool when I put them on back in like '01, but obviously have not stood up to the test of time with all the heat cycling. So got the new valve covers. Got this little breather to snap on there, which I don't know, I might just put a plug on that and get a K&N to go on the fill spout. We'll see, but I don't know, that actually looks kind of cool, so I might just keep it that way. But yeah, this is just one of those jobs that's like, it's very tedious. Very tedious cleaning everything. It's probably the worst part about this. You know, it's not that it's hard, it's just very time consuming, and takes its toll on your back. You know, you're leaning over trying to do all this stuff. So I mean, that's what's kind of cool. You know, I'm really not in a rush to do this. That's what's nice about you know, having a daily driver car. You can just get to work or whatever, and then I can mess around with this in my spare time. I don't need this car to get to work or anything, so that's always a benefit. So yeah, I'll be cleaning up this other side here, get that all tidied up, and go ahead and pull the plugs out of this side, do all that. And I've actually also got a ground kit I'm going to put on here too. Pretty cool. I'll show you that a little bit later.